Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, students. Today we are going to talk about novel and its elements. I believe that everyone now uh, is familiar with novel. I believe that you uh, have read one novel at least in your life. But I am a little bit doubt when we talk about reading novel for the man because yeah, you know that not all of the men love reading novel, and yeah, based on the experience, some men they never read any novel their entire life. I don't know. How about you guys? Have you ever read any novel your entire life? If a woman, I believe that when I ask you, what novel have you read, I believe that there will be a long list for that. Yeah, since women love reading more than a man, it's common, how to say that? Common knowledge about it. Okay, so today we are going to talk about novel and its elements based on experience and related to the previous studies. When we talk about a short story, actually the elements of novel is almost the same, not almost, it's the same as the short story. So novel and short story, they share the same elements. As you can say, they have settings, characters, style, etc. So actually they share the same elements. However, the difference between short story and novel, you know that in novel you can find more complicated setting, more complicated character, more complicated plot, point of view, etc. So it means that uh, among those two, short story and novel, novel is more complex rather than just a short story. However, they share the same elements. Okay, guys. Now let's move to the second slide. Here there is words from Jane Austen. She is a really famous author from Britain, and she lived during the Victoria era. So here is her quotes. She mentioned that uh, the person, be it gentleman or lady, who has not pleasure in a good novel must be intolerably stupid. So it means that, yeah, for those people who really dislike novel, since they are not really that smart, because you know that when you read a novel you can learn a lot. That's why reading a novel is something good actually for you to enhance your knowledge on something. So guys, if you have a leisure time, you want to make it pleasure, just read a novel. It can take you to another world. It can make you to be another person. It can uh, grant you with a lot of knowledge related to things. You know that sometimes novel is not only about love story. You can learn about places, you can learn about science, knowledge, etc. So it means that when we want to read a novel, don't think that it's the novel is only about love. So actually there are many novels having a theme like a struggle in life, uh, uh, war, anything. So do not just think that novel is only about love story. Maybe it's a big theme or the major theme, but it has a lot of minor themes that we can get or gain new knowledge from it. Okay, guys, before we move too far to the elements of the novel, now we would like to see the the definition of uh, what is it? The definition of novel. So novel is invented prose. Yeah, since it is a prose, the same as short story, uh, it shared the same elements. So no wonder it's about the prose narrative of considerably length and a certain complexity that deals imaginatively with human experience, usually through a connected sequence of events involving a group of persons in a specific setting. So we know that in a novel we will have more than one person as the characters, group of person, and then we will have an imagination there. It is a narrative, so it's a story. It can be chronological, it can be back forward, it can be uh, how do you say, linear. So we have a lot of how do you say that? A lot of line here in a novel. Also, it's usually about a human experience, and also it has a lot of settings, it has a lot of characters, a lot of time span. So it's not only a single time span. Okay, guys? You need to remember that novel is much more complicated or much more complex than just a short story. Well, now let's take a look into its elements. Apa aja sih elementsnya? Let's take a look. In a short story, we have setting, of course, characterization, plot and structure, narrator and point of view, conflict, theme, as well as style. Okay, guys, those are the elements, and we are going to describe it one by one. If you have any questions, you can chat me or you can post it in our group, WhatsApp group. So let's take a look to the settings. What do we have? What do we have in settings? All right, guys, in setting, we have four major things. First, we have place. So, you know that setting is a description of where and when the story takes place. Where and when. You need to remember where and when. Kapan, sorry, di mana dan kapan. So there are four things. First, we talk about the place. You know that the place is the geographical location of the story. So you need to pay attention with the place of the story. Is it in Indonesia, in Egypt, like Habibur Rahman novel, always in Egypt, get the setting, or in Europe, Middle East, etc. So the place where it takes place, geographical location. However, in some novel, they didn't mention the place uh, uh, ex- explicitly. They sometimes put it, make the place is kind of a mystery, or sometimes the place didn't mention at all in the novel. So it's up to the writer actually. Okay. And then we have a time setting. We have a time setting, whether it's a period of time, certain period of time, whether it is in the 90s, 50s, millennium era, or any era, any period of time. So it is important to sometimes to mention it, because you know that in every era it has a different style, it has different way of language and etc. So it will help you if you mention the period of time, so it can help you to write novel and make you remember, oh, at this era there is no phone, something like that. Okay, sometimes in a novel didn't mention the time as exact as it is. Sometimes they just write and the time just like this year, or sometimes there is no mention about year at all. Okay, so it's up to the writer. And also we have a climate or weather setting. So it's begin with the midst of hurricane or etc. So usually setting is in the beginning or in the introduction. It shows us or it describes us the situation of the novel itself. And also the lifestyle. This refers to daily life of the characters, something like the setting, the daily life. So here the setting usually we put it at the beginning, or sometimes when we talk about setting, it helps the reader to understand and make a certain point of view on something. Okay. However, sometimes setting can be how do you say that? Can be something that is the background, only the background or the backdrop of the story, or setting can be the major thing happens, or something. Setting is the the role, the important role of the story itself. For example, if you want to write or if you read a novel related to hurricane disaster, then the hurricane is at the point of the setting. So it's not just a backdrop, but the story starts from there. So yeah, sometimes when the writer mention about the setting, place, time, climate, etc., directly, it means that the story is related to those situation. Guys, now let's take a look to the quiz. So you can see there that is setting quiz. For activity, please find the setting in the novel shown below. We came from Bethlehem, Georgia, bearing Betty Crocker. Cake makes this into the jungle. My sister and I were all counting on having one birthday a piece during our 12-month mission, and heaven knows our mother predicted they wouldn't have Betty Crocker in the Congo. Barbara Kingsolver, the poison with Bible. So I need you to find the setting of time, setting of place, setting of weather, and the lifestyle of this novel chunk. Okay, guys? You can answer it and put it in the discussion column in the campus. Well, let's move to characterization. Nah, it's something that important in a novel to have the characters. The characters can be people, animal, robots, nature, etc. Yang jelas, clearly they must take part in the action of the story. So, if you want to have the character, the unusual character, or any character that you like, you need to make sure that your character is your character has an action or take an action in the story. They can be protagonists, antagonists, extras, protagonists, etc. So there are many characters actually in a novel. It's much more complex than just a short story. Okay. Characterization deals with how the characters in the story are described. Ask yourself, describe-nya ini, the character can be described through dialogue. So actually, the writer will not tell you that Elsa is a protagonist, for example. No, they will tell you their characters through a dialogue. Okay. Also, by the way they speak, their physical appearance, their thoughts, their feelings, the way they act towards other characters, something like that. So the writer will show you uh, the characters of the person in the novel by from the dialogue, the way they speak, their physical appearance, their thought, their feelings, their interaction. Okay, now you need to make sure that some characters, yes, change. So are they static characters who do not change? Some characters change from from the from the beginning until the end. Sometimes we have a plot. Sometimes we have a character twist. Character twist. So at the beginning, we thought that person or that character is an evil or is the antagonist. By the end, we know that he or she is not the antagonist. She is maybe the protagonist, the helper of the protagonist, something like that. Have you ever watched or read Harry Potter. Do you know Severus Snape, the the teacher of the Harry Potter, teacher of Harry Potter, Severus Snape, Professor Severus Snape? He is called as a character twist, in which at the beginning we think that he is an evil. He works with Voldemort. At the end, we know that he is not evil. He protect Harry Potter. He is the protagonist, something like that. So yeah, sometimes we have a how do you say it, character twist. Okay, and then you need to also find that whether they are the type of their characters. What qualities that stand out? Are they a stereotype? Are they just a part of? Uh, are they just some how do you say that some stereotype kind of the character like a stereotype in like this when you have a man in your opinion we stereotype a man with people who is yeah patriarchy for example something like that, so that's called as is that the character is stereotype. In Indonesia, when we talk about patriarchy, we stereotype it with a man, right? So that's called stereotype. Now, that's all about characterization. Now, let's move to the plot and structure. Plot is the main sequence of the event that make up the story. Main sequence plot arises out of the conflict in the story, which builds to a climax. Okay, so we have plot in a form, and then we have conflict, and then we have the climax. So plot tells us what happened, when, and why. Okay, and then you need to mention that a plot is a series of events that happen during the situation in the novel. So you need to mention which one is the most important events. How is the plot structure? Is it chronological? Is it linear? Is it move back and is it back and forth? Is there any turning points, a climax or anticlimax? So plot is really important to have a nice novel to be read. Sorry. So if you have a good novel, you can how do you say it? You can be curious about what happened next. So that's a good author. When you are curious about what will happen next, what will happen after this event, is it the climax yet? Is it something that you are waiting for? So if the author can uh, create a good plot, good structure, good event, and good climax, then it will be a very nice novel to be read. Okay, it can be happen vice versa if the novel is not that. All right, next we have narrator and point of view. You know that narrator is the person telling the story, while point of view is whose eyes the story is being told through. So whose eyes is borrowed when we have narrator, when we have point of view. Okay, guys, who is the narrator or the speaker in the story? So yeah, in a novel we usually will find a certain uh, a person or certain character that tell the story. It called as the narrator, person telling the story. Sometimes that person is the part of the characters using the first person point of view. So if the narrator using I, then it is the first person point of view. It means that you are the narrator, the storyteller of the story. And if the writer or the author use he or she, it means that the author use the third person point of view. Okay, it is all right. It's something common when you use he or she point of view. Yes, some novel use it, and also there is kind of a person who knows everything. Usually, when you use the third person point of view, that person knows everything. That person can reveal the character's thinking and doing at all times and uh, in all place. So, when you have the third person character, that person yes, it's everyone. It means that that person know everything. Okay, and also sometimes in a novel, the author will speak through one more than one character. So it's not only maybe it's not only about the main character's point of view. It can be someone else's characters or point of view. Usually it will be separated in certain chapter. Biasanya gitu. So having a narrator and point of view will help us. Enjoy the reading. For myself, I prefer to have the first person point of view since you know that when we are the first person point of view, we know nothing about others, we just only know about ourselves. Um, it is different when we have third person point of view, it means that that person knows everything. So, yeah, I prefer to have the I point of view. Okay, now, guys, let's take a look to the conflict. As I mentioned before, conflict, you can find conflict in plot, in a structure. Conflict is a tension, the heart of the novel, and is related to the main character. So usually conflict is really important in a novel because it can apa ya, it can make the reader continue or not reading the book, since if the conflict is so easy peasy lemon squeezy, why should we read it more? All right, if the conflict is really make us wonder about what will happen next, what event will happen, what is the climax. So it means that our story is success for uh, enhancing their curiosity. Okay, here are several conflicts that we know: character versus characters, like in Harry Potter, when Harry Potter is having a conflict with Voldemort, so it create the whole story. So can you imagine if Harry Potter has no conflict with Voldemort, and then there will be no Harry Potter story? So it means that we are eager to, or we are curious to read Harry Potter since it has a conflict with Voldemort, and the conflict is quite long until we read the last book. Okay, and characters versus society, like in Katniss Everdeen. Do you know Katniss Everdeen from Hunger Games? Yes, it's actually it is from book itself. If you ever watch Katniss Everdeen, it's characters versus society. Katniss Everdeen versus people from the capital society. Okay, and then we have a character versus technology, just like in Bumblebee movie, Terminator, something like that. So that's character versus technology. We have also character versus supernatural, just like vampire. Maybe you remember Twilight. Yes, it's character versus supernatural. And then we have character versus fate, like Frodo from The Lord of the Rings. Have you ever watched The Lord of the Rings? You need to watch it then. It's really, really a good movie. And you need to read the book itself, and also character versus self, and any character versus anything. Actually, it can be a conflict. Character versus nature, for example, like in the movie of not in the movie, sorry, in a novel of survival. It's character versus nature. Okay, so it is important that author to describe the main conflict as detailed as possible. Is it internal conflict or external conflict? Is it uh, what is the cause of the conflict? Something like that. So, as an author, as a reader, it's something that we really want to know related to conflict. Remember, conflict plays an important role. If you found a good conflict in the book, then I believe you will continue reading it. But if you find the conflict is just so, it will be boring, and I guess you will not read it at all. Okay, guys. Next, we are going to move. Let's move to the theme. All right, theme, just like in any literature, theme itu tema. It means that the main idea, lesson, or the message in the novel. It is usually abstract, universal idea about the human condition, society, or life. So usually a theme is about, you can see, war, love, uh, family love, society life, social condition, something like that. So that's called as theme. Okay. Uh, when we have a theme, we need to mention that it is repeated all over the story. Okay, since you know that theme is something that you will find again and again during the story, during you read the book, the novel. You need also to remember that sometimes you have two kind of themes. First, you have major theme and also the minor theme. You know that major is the most repeated theme in the novel, while the minor is the supporting theme that you can find in the novel to usually to support the major theme. For example, when you watch how do you say that? When you read a novel about how do you say that? War, the setting of the novel, the theme of the novel is a war. Then there you sometimes can find a minor theme like a friendship, like a love story, something like that. So that's called as major and minor. Okay. Usually a theme is what the story is truly about at its core. Okay, when we have a theme, also there is a lesson, that moral that we want to, we can get, and also uh, theme is really important since some people they just love to read novels in the certain theme. Okay, for example, the theme you can find the book or anything. For example, Beauty and the Beast. The topic is vanity. The theme is true beauty is on the inside, not out. So theme is sometimes about the lesson or the moral value that we learn. Okay. Thank you guys. Now let's move to the last. This is the last element. This is the last element called as style. Yes, every author they have their own style. The author style has to do with the author's vocabulary, use of imaginary, tone, or feeling of the story. So, as you can see, for example, the very famous author in Indonesia, we have Terelie, right? And Terelie's vocabulary is quite poetic, if I can say that, and he used a lot of imagination in all of his book. Uh, the tone and feeling is almost the same for the whole books, and you know that when you read a book without seeing the author's name, sometimes you can guess, oh, this one is Terelie based on his figurative language. Okay. uh Style is really important to differentiate between one uh, author to another. For Habibur Rahman El Shirazi, for example, his style is Middle East, specializes in Middle East. Feeling of the story is about a love story that between two people, something like that. Use of vocabulary is really describing and really uh, adore Middle East women, something like that. So, yeah, style for each author is different. So, yeah, it's a little bit impossible for us to copycat someone's uh, literature work since everyone has their own style. Okay, and also when we talk about Terry Lee, I still remember that he was being accused of as a ghostwriter. So he was accused using a lot of ghostwriter. However, when I read all of his works, it seems that he's not using any ghostwriter since the storyline is almost the same, the figurative language is almost the same. Yeah, if you can see that. Whether you have, do you have the same idea with me, the same opinion that Terelie has its own figurative language? If yes, then you can put it in discussion column. Okay, guys, that's about style. Remember, every author has their own style and it differ. Seriously, it differ from other. Okay, the last one. It's not the last one actually. This is the task that I need you to do. I need you to submit this task in uh, task column in a campus. Let's talk about novel analysis. I believe that you have read any novel in your life, at least one novel, or if you have read a lot of novel, I want you to share with me the most impressed novel, the most novel that you like. I need you to analyze it using the elements of the novel. I need you to find the characters, the setting. So you can start, maybe first of all, you can start your novel analysis by mentioning why that novel impressed you the most, what you like and dislike about that novel, uh, what critics that you can give for that novel, and also you after that you can write the elements of novel, using write the settings of the novel, the characters. Yeah, for the characters you just put the several characters, not the whole characters, the characters that really has uh, certain touch or detach with the how do you say that, with the main character, the style, the point of view, the conflict. You need to make it into a good paragraph, or you can create a video telling that the analysis. So choose one novel that you like and then analyze it. Okay, guys? Well, that's all for today's class. Thank you very much for attending the class. You can play this recording over and over again until you understand about it. Also, you can use another platform to find uh, to get more understanding about novel and its elements. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you again next week. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.